This is not a 12-hour speed run.
Damn it!
I will not be getting Excalibur 2.
Son of a bitch! Why am I here?
Yep, this is Final Fantasy IX for the PlayStation 1 came out just before the PS2 came out, which is why everyone overlooked it when it first came out.
Yeah. When did this game come out? Like 2000?
2000.
Oh, yeah, that was the year the PlayStation 2 came out.
Yeah, what they were talking about at the time this came out in gaming magazines and stuff was that they wanted to do one last classic-style Final Fantasy game before going in a new direction with Final Fantasy X. Now, your mileage may vary on Final Fantasy X, mostly depending on whether you grew up in America or Europe. Lucky bastards got the international edition. But, Final Fantasy IX is actually the Final Fantasy game that I played most as a kid. I like 8 was my first one, but I asked for Final Fantasy VII one Christmas, and what I got was Final Fantasy IX because my parents can't.
You got the better game.
No, my parents can't tell the difference between Roman numerals apparently, or But yeah, I was disappointed at first, but then I got into it and I really, really liked it. But
you got the better game.
Yeah, but here's the thing about Final Fantasy IX, though. A lot of it is referential, and I didn't get half of this game the first time I played it because, like, I didn't know who the fuck Garland was when I played this game. Like, you don't need to play the previous games to understand the story. No. You need to play the previous games to understand the in-jokes, and there are a lot of them.
You get the most out of this if you've been playing any Final Fantasy beforehand, I would say, because 9 is just pretty much one giant love letter to the Final Fantasy series at this time. 1 through 8, all of them. There's a reference to almost every single Final Fantasy
including tactics.
Tactics, really?
Yeah, because this is Sid the Ninth. There was no Sid for the first Final Fantasy. So they count the Sid in Final Fantasy Tactics.
Well, that goes into what Lewis is talking about. That's referential stuff that I didn't get because I can't get into tactics. I seriously cannot get into tactics. And I know it's heresy to some people out there, my uncle in particular, but I just can't get into tactics. I'm sorry. I can get into this, though. I fucking love this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time, 9. And I skipped over 8 when I got this one because I love the hell out of 7, but I played too much of 7 to really pay 8 any attention. So by 2000, I was a bit Final Fantasy 7 out, and it's like, you know what, I need a new RPG fix. Christmas time is coming. So I asked for this, I get this, and that was a really fucking good winter vacation.
Did you ever go back and play 8 just out of curiosity?
Lewis, we'd be here all day if I count the amount of times I picked up and put down 8.
Yeah, I don't
Hello, main character.
Oh boy, saying, wait, this isn't a Dragon Ball Z game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Zidane and Kuja having tails is a reference to Saiyans, but we'll find out more about that much, much later.
Well, since Zidane's naturally blonde, that just means he's super all the time.
He was born super. Now he's going to be super.
So is he half super?
No, he's already super, so he transforms to be super.
He's more of a dirty blonde. Anyway,
okay.
This is where we're introduced to that first mechanic that they added to Final Fantasy IX, because they didn't just make it an old-school Final Fantasy game. They did mess with things, try new mechanics, and one of the things was they give you exclamation points when you find stuff in the environment. And, you know, it seems like that's such a normal fucking thing these days, but no, that was really new when this came out. You had to, like, manually search every environment before this. It was a pain in the ass. And I'm glad they added this. On the other hand...
Check that cabinet. Okay, check the cookie crumb behind the cabinet.
Well, one could make the argument that it makes exploring environments thoughtless in games, but that's only really a problem if you're playing a game where you're supposed to really painstakingly explore every environment. JRPGs, Final Fantasy in particular, are more like popcorn RPGs. You're not supposed to spend that much time in one place. The pace is supposed to keep moving. So, having
Not to mention, there's something very rewarding where you got a hunch when you're exploring something. It's like, that little area looks a little suspicious. And in 9's case, you go to that area, and then you're greeted with an exclamation point or a question mark. It's like, hey, my hunch was right, and you get an item. Most of the time it's something small, like a potion or guilt, but you're rewarded for that sense of curiosity. And I think 9 is chock full of that shit, and I love it because of that.
Are we just gonna ignore the guy with the dragon head here?
The guy with the dragon head could wait.
Tutorial fight.
One thing to mention... Oh, you got the Mage Master really fast that time. Or did you cut to it? Oh,
Nope,
you
I didn't cut.
No,
lucky
no.
asshole. All right, what are
Actually,
the-
aside from the fairy flute later on, I get really lucky in this game in terms of boss deals.
What? Nobody has an easy time with the damn fairy flute.
Wait.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
When is that?
The fairy flute's not
that's
until
much later.
Yeah,
That's
it's much
like
later
this
in the
too.
game.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like I guess I should say I'm playing through this game as we commentate over it. So at any given session, I have not played more than what we are seeing on the screen. At,
Yeah.
At any given point.
So I'm gonna try to avoid massive spoilers.
Well,
but-
like I know mostly what happens because I've watched LPs, but the
Oh,
details
okay.
are like I know who the bad guy is. I know the general outline of the plot and specific set pieces, but the details are kind of lost on me at this point because I watched H.C. Bailey's LP of this like 3 years ago now. So
Oh,
He
wow.
did a really good
Then you
LP
know
of that.
everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about these tutorial sections opening up is that you never gain any experience points for any of the battles. So the only thing that you can possibly gain is by stealing.
Yes. Before we get into that, I kind of skimmed over Ryan's introduction to 9. Like, how far do you go back to this one, Ryan? I mean,
Basically, my introduction to Final Fantasy was actually 7. I was over at a friend's place, and his older brother was playing 7 on the PC. So I was curious, and I asked for a Final Fantasy. Basically, the same thing as kind of Lewis here. I asked for basically a Final Fantasy game. I probably specified 7, but 9 was the new one that came out, so my parents got me that, and I was happy.
meanwhile,
you want to bone storm? You got Lee Carvello's putting challenge.
No, well, what's Lee Carvello's Final Fantasy 8?
Meanwhile,
I don't know.
Meanwhile, I didn't play a Final Fantasy game until I played Final Fantasy 4 on the
Right,
Virtual Console in like 2000.
Ah.
Oh, it was 2011. That's it.
You didn't do it. You didn't do the thing where you just keep saying Queen Brain over and over.
That
Okay.
takes like
I'm
54
sorry.
fucking times.
Yeah,
If
I'm
you
not
feel like-
wasting time with that.
if you
I
take-
just wanted
if
to
you-
do it
yeah.
once as a joke.
You choose the Queen option like 54 times. Ruby barges in saying, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" It's like, get a move on.
Oh, so it's not just a "but thou must" situation.
Well, you
A lot of the things in this game have a lot of. If you continue to press the wrong answer, someone will make note of how stupid you're being.
Yeah, but at that point you're just fucking around because they already told you who you're supposed to be kidnapping, so you're just recapping the plan that was told to you, and it goes into Zidane personality because rather than being the emo guy like Squall was, Zidane is a pretty cheerful, happy Joker guy.
Yes.
He was in it for the babes, but then again, he's 16, so that's pretty standard.
He's in it for the babes, and it turns out that the female lead in this game wears skin-tight pants, so...
A far cry from the previous 2 protagonists we've had, Cloud and Squall, which people enjoy Zidane because he's not Cloud and Squall. Not to say that Cloud and Squall weren't interesting characters in their own right.
I'd even go as far to say that, like in 6, I'd say the main character in 6.
There was no main character in 6.
Well, like the
The closest we had was
The-
Terra, probably.
Terra, or I'd actually
Celeste.
say Celes,
Yeah.
too. So, like, compared to those two, like, those are pretty downbeat characters as well. So,
Celeste is more just serious business, but not so much a downbeat.
also,
Anyway.
this game has a very kind of unorthodox sort of opening. Not necessarily slow-paced, but it's just kind of... It takes... they start the game with the exploring the town, which is not normally what happens in a game like this. Normally they start with like a dungeon or a...
It depends on really what your mentality is with coming to RPGs, because in this sequence here, you can spend an hour easily.
Oh no,
just
I spent
Just
a half,
faffing about, yeah.
I spent about
Yeah.
a half an hour just faffing about with...
Yeah, but here's the glorious thing about it. If you want, you can walk that away for about 10 feet and move on with the plot.
Yeah.
And
There's nothing absolutely stopping you to get your ticket checked, and proceed with the plot. But yeah, there are so many things you can pick up on the floor here. Most of it's like petty change and maybe like 15 potions and some cards for the card game.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me and spend 5 minutes exploring all that stuff because you already know where it's at, and spend 55 minutes playing the goddamn jump rope game.
I don't play the jump rope game at all. Let's steal Grandma's money.
Yeah, Final Fantasy IX sort of meets a halfway point between 8 and 7 in terms of distractions that you can play around with along the way. Because Final Fantasy VII had mini games out the ass at the Gold Saucer and stuff. Final Fantasy VIII just had the frickin' card game. Final Fantasy IX has a bunch of little tiny mini games that you can find around the place, and the frickin' card game. And to be honest, I actually prefer the Final Fantasy VIII card game over this one.
Hexadecimal.
I don't know how it works. I couldn't figure it out.
No one knows how it works until someone basically hacked Sony. I don't want to say hacked the Sony site, but they got like some weird Sony Square thing online. They data mined it.
Yeah.
It's hexadecimal?
Yeah.
Are we talking about 8's Triple Triad or 9's Tetramaster?
Nines.
Triple Triad is simple and easy to play. Tetramaster is just like you have to riddle out the numbers yourself is what the game expects you to do.
I go by the arrows.
Yeah, well, the arrows only do so much. There's also
I still win the regen ring.
Yeah, but you know, it's like without a guide, you have to play the game and talk to people and figure out what all the rules are. It's like there's no rule book except like on the internet, and the fucking strategy guide is fucking useless. Okay, I've got this thing in my closet.
The worst strategy guide of all time.
It's just directions to a website that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I remember having that one too, and I was like, "This is a piece of shit."
I still have it in my closet. I probably should have busted it out before we started this part so that I could read some of it to you, but I'll do that between parts.
Why? I was going to say it's time to go to play online.
Yeah. Well, in any case, Final Fantasy IX is not the best fleshed out world, mostly because, you know, there are hippos and other assorted animal people, and none of them are ever defined as, you know, races or anything.
Well, the rat people are.
Well, the rat people have their own kingdom, but that's all you find out about them. They have their own kingdom.
Well, it does make, like, the very eclectic kind of party kind of make sense, because, like, I know that there's plot stuff involving Vivi, but, you know, people aren't gonna, like, unless if they're specifically thinking about the Black Mages, they're not gonna pay much mind to him, because everybody else is weird as fuck.
Well, the Black Mages actually do have plot explanations for who they are,
I know, but, like, nobody around here knows that, so he's just another weird kid. Oh, wow, how special you are.
Weird kid with no face and glowing yellow eyes.
What happened?
How do you eat?
John, have you ever seen the Kirby anime? Because in the
Are you talking about how the Waddle Dees?
Yeah, they
just warped it in.
DDD just puts a cracker to his mouth and just absorbs it.
Yeah, via osmosis. Waddle Dees eat food via osmosis. I get it.
What happens if you take off Vivi's hat, though?
He probably evaporates, but yeah, the Black Mage design in Final Fantasy IX is like directly based on the Black Mages that have been part of series tradition since Final Fantasy I, and we don't really see this Black Mage design anymore. Some of the modern games have had costumes based on it, but you don't see this exact design for any characters anymore.
There seems to be a hesitation to going to the classic Final Fantasy characters and stuff. Ever since, like, after Final Fantasy IX, I've noticed there is not an awful lot of...
Well, here's the problem with that. Final Fantasy has gone very shonen, and classic Final Fantasy is not shonen. So they can't have their cake and eat it too, so they're just going full anime with everything.
Classic Final Fantasy tropes seem to be relegated now to spin-offs, side games and spin-offs, yeah.
Probably Worlds of Final Fantasy whenever that comes out.
Yeah, but there is clearly a demand for this kind of style, because Bravely Default is basically classic Final Fantasy without the Final Fantasy, and even then, like, they still name all their spells like Blizzara and shit, so it's not even trying to hide it very much. And that game sold very well.
Blizzara and shit is the level 3.5 spell.
Well, unfortunately, Final Fantasy, both in America and
hey, look, I'm in this game.
Commentaries that way, buddy. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, unfortunately, Final Fantasy in America and to some extent in Japan went mainstream with Final Fantasy VII, which was where Tetsuya Nomura took over the design elements. So
For every game in the series except for this one.
Yeah, but here's the thing, okay? Whenever they go back to something that's not that, they wind up doing poorly for some unrelated reason. Like, for example, Final Fantasy XII sold poorly because the gameplay is kind of freaking weird and inconvenient and not at all, streamlined.
Thank you!
Yeah, but you know what? That was their last attempt at doing a single-player Final Fantasy game in, a high fantasy kind of style. So they haven't done it since.
Oh wow, you are awful at your jump rope. My record was 5 hops, I believe. So
they just
well, I wasn't trying.
They just sort of assume that the Evilise style was responsible for Final Fantasy XII failing. It wasn't, but that's what marketing people are going to think. So we haven't had a Final Fantasy in that style ever since. And
well, I should reiterate. My thank you at the end wasn't so much responding to what Lewis was saying. It was more like Ryan finally left the right side of the fucking town.
Well, because I was doing a lot of research for this game, and I was told something was there, but I couldn't find it. So.
Yeah, I know. You want to make sure you're not forgetting anything. And I was like, oh, Vivi's lost. It's like, I need you to go north, south, north, south.
Hey, this is just, he's going back. This is,
Where's the ticket booth?
This is an accurate portrayal of what
Oh no, I looked all around this place when I played the game.
I'm trying to find as many goodies as I can throughout the game.
What the hell are you doing?
Back and forth
You can get the girl to move if you just go in.
No,
in
you
and
have
out
to
of
ring
the-
the bell.
You have to. No, you don't have to do that.
No, you don't have to do that. You just have to wait. There we go.
You can just
there
wait
you
and the
go.
girl
Trying
leaves.
to get her out of the frickin' house so you can go behind her. I never knew that.
I thought
Yep.
that you. Well, I always had her. She always moved when I rang the bell.
If that's a shortcut, then you can do that too. But you can also just
For
wait
3 gil.
Yeah, damn right.
All
You stole a 6-year-old girl's life savings. What were you really?
That girl was the one that gave you your ticket when you fell on your ass, Vivi. What a prick.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, one of the money things that you can find while searching around as Vivi actually does say you just took Grandma's life savings.
Yeah, we did that. We did that earlier.
Of 9 gil. But are you going to find the little boy's missing mittens?
I believe so.
Oh wait, you can actually find that fucking kitten? I looked around so long and I never found it anywhere.
Well, it's a weird little trigger. You have to
card for it.
You have to talk to him. Yeah, you get the bomb card for doing it. You talk to him, and if you ask if you can help him find his kitten, and you say yes, he says thank you. Then you talk to him again to get the idea of what the kitten looks like, and I think that's what makes him spawn in the town square. So you got to backtrack like 2-3 screens to the center of the town for the cat to
Ryan
appear.
didn't do
and by
that.
the way, the cats look really fucking weird in this game. Like they're all, it's like those cheetah, those kind of like those cheetah enemies that you run into, like babies. It's so weird. It's like Dr. Evil's cat, if slightly bigger.
Aw, man.
No, past me.
Ryan,
You
Ryan,
can't
get away from the
find
right. Why are you so magnetically attracted to the right side of the screen?
Because I know something's there. I've seen it in Let's Plays.
For the
and I can't seem to
29th
find
time,
it.
Vivi, I'm not the ticket master.
I was gonna say I was on the subject of Final Fantasy XII before, but yeah, it's like every time they try to do a game that sticks to a fantasy style, it fails for completely different reasons than the style. But I get the feeling that the marketing teams are assuming that it's failing because of the style and just going back to anime every time. Because what did we get before Final Fantasy XIII? We got Final Fantasy XII. Final Fantasy XII bombed. And then Final Fantasy XIII was like, let's do Final Fantasy VII again, only with a girl.
Remember that cross-dressing sequence? Well, what if we followed up with that?
Wait, so do you get anything for finding this guy's cat?
You get the bomb card later.
After you find the cat, you have to go back to where the boy was initially, and he'll give you the bomb card.
They don't just have him eat.
Yeah, I know. Why he doesn't give you the bomb card then and there? I don't know.
Yeah, you're not gonna find the cat, Ryan.
Ryan, for
No,
God's
I
sake.
already got the cat earlier.
The bomb card. It's to the left. There's nothing there, baby.
Whatever.
Is this where I could find destiny?
Well, that was a weird place to end the part.
And now you know why this is 74 fucking parts.
Will VV be able to get front row seats to the show? Tune in next time to find out.